There are so many people who have influenced me during my career. Too many to name, but just to call out a few. Of course, my immigrant parents. Immigrant parents sacrificed a lot to give their 3 children, and I'm the youngest of 3, the opportunity for the best education. My father worked 6.5 days a week. He was an entrepreneur. Didn't have too much time, but he did bring me donuts in the morning. Every morning, brought me breakfast with my stay-at-home mom. So my father taught me what hard work, having a work ethic was really critical. My mother was a stay-at-home mom raising 3 kids, and she exemplified a lot of compassion, and she was a very nurturing and warm person. She treated all of my friends like her own children. All right, so she was very open and helpful to family and friends. Okay, so my parents, absolutely. My husband and son, can't say enough about them. What I have to say is they are very forgiving people for giving me the flexibility and freedom to pursue a very intensive and varied career. So I am eternally grateful to them and their sounding boards. It's amazing what children can see and say. So I look at the world through their eyes. In the world of work, I had this amazing boss and who's a sponsor and mentor to me. His name is Claude V. Weir Jr., Esquire. Dartmouth undergrad, Harvard Law School, the whole package. But what we had in common was we were both minority, and he grew up in Staten Island, raised by a single mother. And so we had that in common. We were kids from the neighborhood with humble beginnings. So together we were always championing, I think, policies, programs for the front line, for those who have no voice in the organization. So we went to bat for the little guys and gals in the organization. So we were like the conscience of the organization. So he so inspired me and molded me as a professional. So I have a lot to be grateful for. There was this lawyer also by the name of Ken Kelly who taught me all I know about employment law. And I didn't go to law school. I went into human resources, but I really learned to analyze things from a legal and compliance perspective, which was a great foundation for a human resources career. So people like Ken, who else? My most recent boss was Jenny Lowe, the board chair for the Chinese American Planning Council. She is a very passionate, high-achieving woman who gives back so much to a community. And at one point, I did ask her to lead our Asian employee network at the bank. We had worked at the bank together. So I think through this relationship, she has taught me about strategic philanthropy and why it's important to be involved in community in a big way. There's also, who else? J.D. Hokoyama, the former president of LEAP, who's a consultant, who's a strategist, and he has also taught me a lot about Asian Americans and different groups of Asian Americans. So a lot of foundational, I think, people who I can go to for expertise, for advice. There's a guy named Nelson Lewis of the Ong Family Foundation, who is one of the most inspirational people who also mentors me. So he was the former executive director of YMCA and also the executive officer of a foundation. So when there's something I don't know, I call him and he advises and supports me in many different ways.